Coming up next on the SPNN Forum, we have David Evans and CeCeile HartLeib to talk about the 30th anniversary of the St. Paul Art Crawl. Hi, welcome to the SPNN Forum. I'm Martin Ludden, Executive Director at the St. Paul Neighborhood Network, and we are here in the Kwame McDonald Studios talking to David Evans, President of the St. Paul Art Collective, and CeCeile HartLeib, an artist who has participated in each of the St. Paul Art Crawls over the last 30 years. David and CeCeile, welcome to the Forum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can we start and talk a little bit about kind of what Art Crawl has been and how it started?
Well, it started out of the fact that in the 80s, it was near impossible to show your work in the Twin Cities. It was more impossible to sell it. Artists would go to Chicago or New York or LA in order to find a market where they could sell their work or get shows. We just decided that we would create our own galleries each and put on a show. And it started out of a open house that we had at Lower Town Lofts after we had opened that. And it was kind of a Better Homes and Gardens tour of artists, how they live. And we thought it could work. People seemed to be excited about seeing how we lived. We thought maybe they'd be excited about seeing our art. And so I don't know, there were probably 15 people, and it wasn't called Art Crawl, it was Studio Tour or something like that. And then a member of the community came and suggested that we start something called the St. Paul Art Crawl. And Jonathan Rockwell, his name was, and he had likened it to the Taste of Minnesota, that we could have this event. And so we, as a board, voted on it. I was a member of the board then. That was 91 or something, I can't remember. But so we did that, and we had maybe 4 or 5 buildings that got in on it, and it's been going ever since. It grew and grew and grew. I think that we started out with maybe 40 artists on the first one, and it got up to 250, 260 that participated regularly. The spring crawl was always more people came to the spring crawl. It was people were tired of being in the house. They wanted to get out, and so it was a more attended crawl. The fall crawl, I think people get busy, weather starts to turn, weather would impact the attendance, and so it was a little tougher on the fall crawl.
But the fall crawl also gives folks a chance to maybe do some holiday shopping.
Yes, it did. Although we also did a holiday show every year too. That was more of a market for smaller pieces.
Yeah. What was it like, being a part of those early crawls as an artist?
Well, I go way back to the fall of '92, I believe. I think for a while we just had fall crawls, and then we added the spring crawl.
True.
Yeah, it was quite surprising to me how many people came in and looked at the art, and I didn't sell a thing that first crawl.
Yeah.
And I think it was the second or the third, no, I guess it was the following year, because at that time it was just fall crawls. So the following year, I had put away this one painting because I thought, well, I don't know if that's really good, one that I had shown in the first crawl. And so people came in and somebody's looking all over the place, you know, for something, and I asked if I could help them and if they were looking for something special, and they said, you had a painting here last time that I really liked. Do you still have it? And he described it. And I pulled it out and they bought it. And so I was real happy right away. I just hit my bike. So anyway.
As the board, someone who was running the crawl at the time, we didn't hear about a sale for the first 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And then we heard about 3 paintings sold, and we threw a big party.
Oh.
I mean, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So those little sales we never heard about.
We didn't know we were supposed to let you know.
No, but no one's supposed to, but you know, word of mouth, we usually hear things because people get excited that this was a change in perception. The community would they'd go to Chicago and buy a painting for $10,000, but you couldn't sell it for $1,000 here.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a cultural problem that people did not value work done by local artists. And I think the shift that we were trying to perpetuate was that the value of the work that's being done by artists in our community can be astounding.
Yeah.
And that patron that went to an art crawl and saw a painting and then went home and carried that in his heart and came back looking for it is exactly what we're trying to do, is to change the perception of what value people find in the work.
Yeah.
And the only way that is internally. I mean, we can't tell them that it's great work.
Right.
And they have to believe it from their own world. And so we felt that by exposing them to a wide variety of everything from trash to gold, whatever, that they could make up their own mind about what they believed art was, what they saw value in, and either accept the artist's value or barter or dicker or whatever, but that we were establishing, I don't want to say a market because we didn't see it as a market, but a value.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you said, it's a culture shift. It's an attitude shift that has to happen, not so much with the artists locally, but with the kind of the viewing public locally. And have you seen that? Like you mentioned it like 30 years ago.
The evidence is overwhelming because there are young artists coming up now who believe that they can make a living making art, where us coming up, that was not an option.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the cards. In fact, my professors, Bernie Quick, he had a great line that you have to think of every painting like a gig. If you sell it, you've got the resources to make another one.
Yeah.
Okay, just step by step.
Right.
And so you weren't thinking in terms of, I'm going to create a big mass of lifetime's work, you know, and just store it in the closet until then. That's basically what I've done in my lifetime. I don't try to sell my work. I haven't marketed. I haven't, you know, I did show in the crawl for many years, and then I kind of switched to visiting the crawl.
Yeah.
And you know, and helping run the crawl. And, things like that. But as we've always felt that the artists are the ones that are running the crawl rather than the organization, the collective. The artists are making the work, the artists are making a gallery, the artists are welcoming people, they're talking, they're interacting with people. And I think that that's one of the cultural shifts that artists never got to deal with people coming to see their work. They made their work and they showed their friends, but it was kind of a small little circle.
Right.
And you make a great piece and people say, wow, that's really nice. And, well, that doesn't mean a lot. That's really nice.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't mean a lot. It's those interactions of people that come back with something in their mind.
Yeah.
That they're holding in their heart. That has a lot more meaning.
Right. Yeah, and I imagine, as an artist, if you're in a place where it's hard to get gallery shows, and I understand that has probably shifted in the last 30 years, but to be able to stand with your work for a weekend and have so many people come through and to get so much feedback, even, not necessarily in a sale, but even in just people admiring your work, like there's not really another way to get that kind of input and feedback on your work and to really feel that impact of it.
Yeah. And, there's such a wide variety of people that go for such a wide variety of reasons. And for most people, it's just a tour. It's just a hike. It's just, and they're looking at things and having a good time. And in the early years, we used to encourage people to serve wine and cheese. And then after a while, we said, stop.
Stop with the wine.
Stop
Yeah.
with the wine.
We had somebody come into our studio, speaking of the wine, and we had a box of wine on the table, and saw this guy out of the corner of our, I don't remember if Terry saw him or if I saw him. Anyway, he was filling a thermos. He had a thermos, and he's filling it with our wine. Excuse me?
So
anyway.
is there still like wine and cheese available? I seem to remember something when I've been through.
Yeah, people still do it, but it was a place where you go from wine,
Right.
and it just wasn't conducive to what we were trying to accomplish. And over the years, it went from being kind of a party atmosphere to being some serious consideration of art, which was the other shift we were trying to facilitate. That the people coming were coming for the art or their relationship to an artist or their friends, or just wanted to see what the heck was going on. Instead of it being a home tour or I had a guy come in and I had all my paintings up and he goes, nice stereo.
We're not here for the stereo, sir. We're here for the painting.
Out of my place.
I get them saying, oh, looking at it, oh, I love that frame.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I chose it
Anyway.
myself.
Yes, good choice.
Good choice.
But it's I think each building has their own requirements now. Since we're really running it more on our own level rather than being the umbrella from the art crawl. In a sense, I think it's still the umbrella from the art crawl, but we decided we wouldn't have any wine or hors d'oeuvres or anything like that in our studios. We have a food truck coming. Our art crawl is going to be the 8th, 9th, and 10th of October. And we're going to have a food truck on Saturday, which will serve Cuban food. I can't remember the name of it. It's K something, QUE
Oh, yeah.
something.
They're
Do
good,
you
they're
know
good.
it? I
Yeah.
could look it up if I remembered to do that. But anyway, they're going to be there on Saturday, and we're going to have, I think we're going to have a few little things out in our open common area.
Yeah.
We have at the Warehouse 2, which is Harriet Island Artists is our group. And we're right there on Harriet Island on Water Street behind the new building called the Cordell. So you don't see us from Water Street, so you have to follow all the little signs that we're going to have up leading you, like Burma Shave signs. Anyway, so we're going to have we have studios around a main open large area. So we're going to have entertainment. We're going to have a tango demonstration on Saturday afternoon. We're going to have a singer guitarist on Friday evening and a guy that plays digital piano also on Friday evening. And we're going to have somebody who plays acoustic guitar on Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon.
Cool.
And so we got a lot going on. We're going to have a portrait group doing a group setup that's painting a portrait or drawing a portrait outside of the Old Town Artists group, outside of their studio. So we've got demonstrations, artist demonstrations. So we got a lot going on at our place. So I just wanted to throw in a little plug for our place.
Yeah, let me come back to that
Okay.
in just a moment. Hi, if you're just joining us, we're here in the Kwame McDonald studios at SPNN for the SPNN Forum, and we're here with David Evans and CeCeile HartLeib talking about the 30th anniversary of the St. Paul Art Crawl. And CeCeile, you were just telling us about kind of what's happening at your building in October. I think traditionally Art Crawl has been a one-weekend event, right?
Yes, it has. The artists for many years have been concerned that the art crawl is getting so big and cumbersome, and that they felt that it diluted the attendance to their building by having so many places. And as we were coming out of last year's cancellation of the crawl, after we had already invested all of the funds into its production, we realized that we need to come out of this in some way. And actually it was the Harriet Island artists that I met with to talk about the possibility that we split the art crawl into a series of events in order to minimize the amount of things that need to be managed at one time.
So now we're in a place where people, I mean, I think the crawl has officially kicked off and it's running through the first weekend in December. So basically every weekend, as long as you're close to every weekend while you're seeing
in October, it's every weekend except the last one.
Yeah.
The Rossmore was going to do the last one, but their new security system put a hitch in the plans, and they didn't know how they'd be able to let people in. It became, so they dropped out. It's the first time the Rossmore hasn't been involved in the crawl, and we're all pretty sad about it.
Yeah.
They were going to do the Halloween weekend with costumes encouraged. We were looking towards to a very fun time, but
chances are good though, if you're seeing this episode, you can go find some art at the art crawl this weekend, and we can say this weekend, and it might be any number of them.
Yeah.
This weekend is the Solidarity Street Gallery over on the east side on Payne Avenue, and we're really looking forward to this celebration. It's kind of a neighborhood festival because there's going to be many sites that have art. It's got a theme of indigenous sovereignty and environmental justice, and we're really looking for we're hoping that there's a great attendance because from the work I've seen, it's going to be a really great show.
Excellent.
With purpose, and I'm excited about it. That starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, rather than the Friday, Saturday, Sunday that we normally run.
Okay.
The Solidarity Street Gallery is all, they had that plan before we planned to do this series of events, and they said, sure, we'll be part of our crawl. What we did is we just told all our members that we are opening up everybody to choose a date for their crawl, and first come, first serve. And Harriet Island said, bam, we choose the date that crawl should be on. So,
Right.
So you have the kind of the original crawl weekend, and that's October 8, 9,
Right.
and 10, and that's at the Harriet Island Artists Warehouse 2. What's the building that people can search to find Warehouse 2?
Actually, they can search us by the address, 106 Water Street, West Water Street, and its former name still comes up on the search engines, which is the ACVR Warehouse.
Okay.
And the original name was Farwell Osmond Kirk and Company
Which I think
Warehouse.
is still on the side of it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
you're not going to find it in Google Maps.
Yeah.
No, but you can search for the ACVR Warehouse, because I don't think it's been changed over yet to the new name of Warehouse 2.
And then there will be events in Lowertown October
Yes,
1st,
the
2nd,
Lowertown
3rd.
Arts District has October 1st, 2nd, 3rd. That will be a big one. There's 5 buildings that are in it. There's going to be a lot of visiting artists that are part of that. They are really excited about this. Each building has its own, is in charge of its own COVID mitigation policies. So I suggest masks.
Yes.
Everybody bring their masks with them. There may be some limiting of how many people are in the building at the same time. That's another protocol that some of the buildings are taking on. So it's, we don't know exactly how many artists participate. We have people that sign up to be members, and this year we waived the fee for participation because of what happened last year. And I still suspect that probably 50% of the artists that participate actually sign up as members. So I'm guessing, any numbers I come up with about how many artists are involved is simply a guess. We do have, I think it's 180 artists now that have signed up as members to be part of the crawl. So I would expect there's 360
Right.
artists actually going to be showing their work.
Well, speaking of work, and I think, CeCeile, you actually brought some work.
I
And I
did.
think we have it shown here. It'd be a shame to miss an
Yes.
opportunity to. Can you tell us about a couple of these paintings that you've brought with?
Well, these that are up here behind me are plein air pieces. This one I did in Door County, and at my brother-in-law's place.
Okay.
And it's an old wrecked Volvo, or not wrecked, but deteriorating Volvo in his yard. Anyway, this one, another plein air one, that's actually the front of our house.
Lovely.
With the plants that my husband plants. And the one here is a portrait that I did of one of my grandkids
Right on.
from a photo.
Yeah.
But these are oils, and I also do watercolors, and I teach classes, I used to teach the plein air landscape in oil, but now I've just started teaching the watercolor only now. Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to be sure too to get in the other places that are having events.
Well, on the same weekend of yours, the Virginia Street Church up on Cathedral Hill is putting up a show, and that one has some real interesting connections. And it's a really interesting building. I mean, it's worth touring the building just to see that. But there's some real purpose to the work they're doing there too.
Excellent.
Then we have the West 7th,
Yep.
the Schmidt Brewery. They're opening up the brew house. So it's going to be an art show, and they're going to, they've got a committee that's organizing that, and they're working very hard on that. There's a couple of galleries along West 7th that are going to be open too.
And it looks like
So
we've got
that's
late October at the Dow Art Gallery.
Well,
in
there's
Union Depot.
we're calling that one the Green Line Crawl. I don't know if that's really gotten out there, but it's between the Dow Gallery and the Union Depot, so it's back in Lower Town again. And so it's the Raymond Station to the Union Depot Station.
That's a
and
great
you
stretch.
can take the train for $1 between them.
Yeah.
The Triangle Building also at Raymond Station is going to be open. So
Which weekend? Oh, that's the 22nd?
Yep, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of October. And then it looks like there's also some stuff going on the first weekend of December on the west side in Villa del Sol.
Villa del Sol, I had 88 Chavez, a group of the West Side artists. They're kind of thinking of it as a holiday event. They are a group that's been involved for quite a while. They're kind of a tight group of people that have participated for quite a while.
Well, and I think, as I look at the lineup of events, and David and CeCeile, thank you for your time today. Thanks for sharing your work. Well, also there's a block party September 28th to October 3rd. And you can find more information about all of this at St. Paul, that's stpaulartcollective.org. And we'll put that up, and we have a map, and we have a list of dates and events that will air with the show here. And you can find more information online about that. But what we have here is kind of 30 years of growth in the St. Paul art scene. And we're looking at a big stretch of time here that folks can go out and see art and appreciate art and buy art and patronize local artists. And I think that's really exciting. So thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
We have been here in the Kwame McDonald studio with David Evans and CeCeile HartLeib talking about the 30th anniversary of the St. Paul Art Crawl. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to come back again soon. Thanks.